Oh, thank you. Thank you, Yasmin. Thanks very much. I'm very excited, frankly speaking, to be here with you. Of course, I would have loved to be maybe and meet all of you in person, but because of the pandemic, I think this is better than nothing. So yeah, I mean, I will try to keep the slides short because I really want to have this Q&A session in the end of the presentation. And I mean, um, if we are talking about scaling agile or transformations, it's like however you describe scaling agile and transformation, it's so wide, so you can go sometimes only shallow in a description. So I'm really looking forward to the questions and the discussions afterwards. Okay, just okay. So this is me. Thanks for the introduction. Just a short one from my side. I'm not going to repeat myself. Repeat the same things. I'm from Kosovo and currently located in Pristina, working from Raiffeisen Bank. And my banking sector experience started in 2008. And I've run the project portfolio management office for 10 years. And during the time when I joined Raiffeisen, I mean, the portfolio was composed of 95% of the projects related to IT, like developments and infrastructure management support projects. And it was a kind of sense that, because of we used to be like a bridge between business and IT. And sometimes we were feeling like, okay, are they speaking the same language? Even that we are talking for the same objective. And recently, I mean, maybe 5 years and 6 years ago, we just recognized that it's not that they are not speaking the same language. It's not that they are not talking about the same objective. The idea is because they were not sitting together, and the IT maybe was receiving the requirements this year, while the deployment of the service of the products has to be in 2 years. So, it was just about co-location and communication and coordination during the way. And this is what we're trying to do with Agile. So, and I think we exceeded with very well until now. So in the last 4 years, I'm working also as an Agile coach. And recently, I've just been assigned to be an Agile coach for COO and CIO divisions, so Chief Operations Officer and Chief Information Officer, plus the board member for corporate banking. And currently, I'm coaching two big departments, which is the first one is IT, and the second one is a corporate banking product. To be to move to the agile way of working. If you want to know more about me, you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can also write me in Gmail, and afterwards you can also have I believe, the presentation. So yeah, I mean, scaling agile and transformations. In my point of view, they are like music, they are like opera, sometimes like a jazz, because only when everyone can feel the music, it helps the system, to get and to be synchronized. And definitely, I have to say the transformations and these change journeys are not smooth, are not easy. Because whoever runs in this journey knows that, because there are lots of moving parts. It's a complex system, and there is no direct sometimes correlation between cause and effect. And if I look back, when I was in a project portfolio management office, when I try to remember, sometimes we were trying to do the same, approach for the different things. It's like, the same size doesn't fit anyone. It doesn't fit everyone. And it's like, when something looks very polished and, very shiny, might be probably wrong. And I felt like somebody pulling the brakes on the system. And I understand that, that was the thing. So what we're going to talk today, I'm going to be focused in 4 bullet points. It's about principles and fundamentals. It's about organizational setup, implement agile, and the triple TE. Maybe you're going to be curious about this triple TE, but okay, we're going to talk about it a little bit later. Yeah, systems. I mean, what we see in the system is like the systems create the copies of itself. And this is something that we really see in nowadays, and also in the past. So if you have a bad system, then the new system will be like, especially like typically like the previous one. And this is what we sometimes, and it's not only sometimes, usually see in the market. How organizations are using system to produce sometimes SHITO services. So what we have done in Raiffeisen, We met with different stakeholders coming from business, in the bank, so we can see the background state. We can identify what is our pain and what is the basis we want to change. Because sometimes I also don't like to use very often the word transformation, because it sounds very hard. It sounds very harm, and because the idea was, if you're going to be transformed, what we're going to be in the future. Are we going to be bank, or we're going to sell bread? It's, of course we're going to be bank again, but the idea is what we want to change. We want to change because we want to improve something, because we want to be maybe close to our clients. Maybe we want to improve and to be faster in the market, faster than our competitors. But the idea is to find, the basis and the organizational-based culture. Actually, to find what is, and what we have found is in the bank is that there are a lot of silos instead of system organization. Is so much split, and some value streams are definitely broken in so many places, and you lose the performance, you lose the quality, and the flow and the process itself. So I put here a pyramid because I believe that we can't neglect, any part of this dimension. So every part will be touched if we want to have success. Otherwise, we may be wrong in a sense. So from the base culture where everything runs and the operation too, it is like, the operating system of the environment, in engineering culture, because, let me put like this. If you are developing and if you are not incrementing outputs in a short increments of time, then definitely this is not a job. So, and then I believe that just doing like this, there is something wrong. And I know there are lots of discussion about complexity and the system, but still we need to be fair. And by using this engineering culture, we can progress and succeed and be successful even better. Of course, we are also having the organization, which is on top of the culture. It must be successful because how we build and where we are. Nowadays, the how is not a question anymore for IT, because everything can be done. The question what we have to ask is, should we do this or we shouldn't do this? And this is something that we are doing in our P Day, which is the portfolio day, where every adaptive setups, the tribes, the projects, the initiatives, and the changes are all there. So it's a transparent meeting where we discuss the investments. And we see how compliant we're the strategic roadmap, and really doesn't make any sense to do that investment, because what are the hypotheses? What is the justification? And it is the thing that really helps us in the strategic part. Then, of course, in the top, we are having strategy and vision. What we usually see, in the corporates and the big organizations, we see that currently they are thinking about the shrinking and lowering the cost and, savings. Yeah, that's fine. And I usually, when I discuss with the cost management or also management work, it's fine having the part of, savings and shrinking. But you may come to the point that there is no more room to save. There is no more room to shrink. So maybe we have to go back in the growth strategy. And this is what we are doing. Like, we want to grow our customers. We want to increase the number of volumes. And yeah, this is sometimes something like back to growth strategy. And on top of this, if you are in a transformation or thinking to do a transformation, especially in agile and adaptive, you must be sure that you are having the top management. Of course, it's the same body who does the strategy and the vision, but we are talking now more about mindset. We're talking about a leadership, which is servant leaders, and we are very lucky in our bank of having our board members and acting as servant leaders. And especially, I have to thank, maybe anyone here may also know our CEO, Shukri Mustafa, who is very visionary and of course believed us that we can progress very well by implementing agile in a banking sector as well. And also our head of IT, Arbor Fazlio, who is also very looking forward to the new way of working in IT. Okay, so another thing that, what we have done here, we are having the strategy is a bank strategy. And of course, we're talking about business, we're talking about corporate, we're talking about compliance, legal, IT. No, there is no more difference. We're talking about one organization. It's the one world. And of course, we have to comply and to follow the bank strategy. And also, this is what we did also in IT. So we created the IT delivery setup model. It's like a new organizational structure, which on the base of it is having people, because I believe the technology is overrated, but it's all about who we work, how we hire, how we how we work, etc. And why we're doing it? Because we really want to do the thing faster. We want to be faster in the market. Sometimes we want to be faster compared to ourselves, not only to the competitors, and of course to be close to our clients. Another thing that we really want to do is to lower the iteration cost. Because we believe that by having this growth strategy with an agile mindset, we will, somehow increase the touch point with our customer, which will also increase, the iteration with them. Another thing which we believe is very much important nowadays is transformation to cloud, because by enabling both speed and scale, then the cloud is critical to innovation. And innovation, it's crucial today. When we onboard, sometimes. Another thing is the architecture. Why I'm saying architecture? Because sometimes you can onboard and you can develop something which may bring you like incidents, and you have to work on them to improve for hours, maybe for days. But by having an architecture, which is the proper one, you can allow to have 10 times interactions, and of course to work also towards the enabling, in the virtual assistant. For example, we may have an architecture which will help you to, for example, I may receive like messages, hey Florije, you are having this much money in your current account. Please just I would recommend to transfer it to your savings account, and you can have like a better margin interest rate. Or maybe you are having this much money in your account, maybe it's better to buy a car or maybe to invest somewhere. So it's like an enlightened virtual assistant, which can be done through a proper architecture in place. Yes, we definitely need to unify our customer experience and user experience through different channels. Clients now are using different channels to do the banking services and to get the banking services. Someone is using e-banking, someone is chatbot, someone is call center, but there are still some people who want to come to the bank, and this is something that we really want to take care, because the relationship it's very important. And if I may recall, it was a research done from KPMG in 2017, if I'm not wrong, which was done in United Kingdom. And of course, in United Kingdom, we're having like lots of investment banks, not only commercial banks. And they tried to research and to get the information how the people are perceiving and how do they see the banking sector in the next 20 years. And it happened to be, which was very surprising, even that the master was taken into consideration was from people from 16 years of age up to 83. The results show that, people want to have, the connection, and they want to have the branches, and they want to see the money in their money. They want to take care, and they want to get this human interaction with the people who are working in the banks, which they money believe to. And performance without compromising quality as well. We want to be attractive, so we believe that in the midterm, the success of the big companies would be based on two elements: the way how they perceive two group of people. The first one is the customer, and the second one is the internal customer. So we're talking for two dimensions. And when we're talking about internal customers, then it's about how we are treating internal talents. Because we want to deploy, and the idea is that we want to cultivate the talents of tomorrow, but today, and deploy talents based on skills and not in the hierarchy. Okay, so this is how our organizational structure in IT looks like. Even that maybe doesn't look like an organizational structure, it is an organizational structure. And what we have done is, of course, in the left-hand side, you can see that there's the governance. we still believe that there are some roles that have to be not independent, but they have to take care for the overall bank processes. Not as the specific ones, but the holistic, like architecture, like risk officers, like engineering coach. They have to be part of the team, but give their advices in a general way. And then we also created like delivery unit in IT. Which are responsible, for example, if I took as an alpha as an example, this delivery unit is responsible for the all retail stuff, loans, payments, cards. You can have like different payments, but the client is a client, so the payment is a payment, the loan is a loan. So this is all about what we are having behind the delivery unit. So it's a delivery unit. It's a kind of bundle of tribes, value stream, future teams, project, initiative changes. Because we don't want to have like two different worlds. We want to live in one world because there is only one world, and we believe that this one world is the world of adaptive and agile. It may be fancy. It's a world of so we don't want to have and to rely on the legacy world anymore as it used to be in the past. It is cross-functional, so why we went for delivery unit, because we needed to break the silos, which have been so ingrained in the system, and wherever we take, and we're still there. So with this new organization, with Raiffeisen Bank Kosovo, we believe that probably it's impossible to be any more in silos because IT moved, and there is no more difference between adaptive and organization and so on. In the past, for example, the testers and developers used to be in different delivery units, if I may call like this, under different managers. Now, the developers, the DevOps, the testers are all working in the same delivery unit, which is having the same objective in the end of the day. And the idea is that we really want to have these developers to perform the testing as well, especially when we're talking the CIT or maybe unit testing. But when it comes to the UAT, user acceptance test, we may have this engineer, test engineers who knows perfectly the testing automation tool, who knows how to write use cases, who knows how to support business in the sense. So we want really to make sure that we don't want to recreate and we don't want to reinvent anything. So by having these delivery units, we are having like a small product within them. And of course, every delivery unit is also having the platform in behind, which makes sure that we don't need to do any more investments or to increase the capacities to perform the work. So we are matching our organization with our architecture every day, and of course with future architecture, APIs, and etc. Definitely, architecture is another important topic because, however, how fancy the process is, if there is no like a very strong bones, then definitely that doesn't count. And yes, we also want to democratize, the knowledge and share it between the teams, like skill matrices, and what would be the career path that they want to follow, what are maybe the units they want to learn more about, what is the learning domain, what they want to share with each other. So, and we are there to support them. So this is democratization of knowledge. Maybe all of it can be, put in a different platform like Confluence or you name it. So they will be able to see what is going on across the system. As well as we also are thinking, of course, about open source, because the idea is behind that we don't want to be dependent. For example, if I want to have a feature which has to be developed in e-banking, I may have two options and two solutions. The first one to go to the e-banking tribe and e-banking team, and as a team to put my user story in a product backlog so they can be prioritized in the future from the business owner, or I can go and develop it by myself. So these are like two possibilities that we really want to have. We also want to go forward and export the APIs to the market and fintechs or the vendors. So what we build for ourselves at a certain point of time can be also shared with the others. Sorry, just a second. Okay, so this was a kind of organizational structure of IT, and now I want just to let you know how this new structure of IT department is cross-functioning and how they do communicate with the tribes. In our bank, we are having adaptive setups, and which are also known as tribes. And tribes are mainly created and are coming from business because we want to create tribes in regards to the products, in regards to services, sometimes platforms, and also steering. Even that, we as an agile coaches are pushing a lot to have always the tribes in regard to the product, because there's the value, there is the value, there is something that we can really see in a small iterations and have something. So for example, in the left-hand side, we are having the how a product may look like in our bank. And of course, the future team is always created from the persons and the employers coming from IT. They may come from different units and different delivery units. It is also the delivery manager who is going to come from IT. And the idea of having IT delivery manager in tribe structure is we find it very, very positive, because this person is not going to be responsible to deliver the technical part, but also is responsible to take care about technical depth, about audit actions, about the organization as a whole. And then we can also have like governance positions, like IT governance and engineering coach, as I mentioned previously, because they have to take care for the organization as a whole. And they can be like domain experts whenever they are needed, not as a full-time dedicated. It can be, I mean, we are always having an agile coach. For example, I am an agile coach for IT, and I don't belong to IT. I mean, as a staff, I'm coming from different department, but with a background in IT. And one recommendation which I would have to give you, especially to the agile coach and scrum masters, it happened to be that when you are going to assign an agile coach and a scrum master, especially working with IT teams, it would be even more successful if these two roles are understanding, not having the the technical know-how, but understanding very well the IT processes. For example, as for Scrum Master, it's very important to understand how the problem management is it's being managed, or the incident management, risk management, ITCM, etc. Then we are having the board member who may come from a business department and who has the money to sponsor it, who has sponsored the tribe, and who is responsible for the run rate in terms of budget, the cost, and the investments. He is also responsible for the KPIs, the objectives that the tribe is going to reach, and also the goals in terms of the tribe. Then is a business owner, also known as a tribe lead. It is also coming from the business, and he or she is responsible for a bundle of products which belongs to their domain or to the area. And then, of course, we have in product owners, and in the tribe, we may have like different value streams with different product owners, which in the end of the day are functioning to the same objective. And the product owner may come from a different department from a business, but who is the person that has the know-how, it's responsible. The idea is to be empowered and powerful to get the decision, and also to prioritize the product backlog, and of course to have the vision in terms of the product. And business members and business analysts, they also are coming from business, are the people who knows maybe the product, who knows the market, who are ready to do the analysis and to maybe do the benchmarking in terms of how the competitors are doing and what would be the best business case that we can follow. So this is the correlation and the way how we communicate and how we are cross-functioned and co-located in our bank when we are talking about agile and adaptive from business and IT. So definitely there is no more two languages. We are having only one language, and this is the language of agile and adaptive. And we are very happy, and I'm very proud to say that and loudly that we are living in this one world. When we restructured our IT department, we were based in core principles. We wanted to flatten the hierarchy. So, I mean, now why we flatten the hierarchy is because if we're talking about agile, we're talking about empowering people, empowering teams, not groups, but teams who are working together in the same objective. And if we are talking about empowering teams, then definitely we don't need the team leads anymore, because the team is empowered itself, so they can take the decision by their own. And we somehow reduce that role, and we don't have team leads anymore. So everyone is in the same level. Developer, tester, they are all somehow reporting to the same manager. Of course, we still believe that they are needed to have a line for operational work, and the development and the motivation and other line activities. We build teams around products and services. It's very important because that is where the value is. And we are having lots of products in the banking, and we also build a team based on and around them. We introduce agile roles in IT, so we are having IT delivery managers, we are having scrum masters, we are having DevOps. In the future, we may probably have the chapter and the guild leads for a specific knowledge and know-how in the department. But definitely IT is not a tribe, it's a supporting function. And so we as an IT go everywhere where it's needed to the business, regardless if it's retail or it's corporate. For us, it's just one company. And the position change is related to the skill set and responsibilities and professional levels, so the talent grow and not to the reporting lines. Okay, implement or go agile. I mean, personally, I don't think that we can implement agile because it doesn't make sense to implement agile. You can grow agile, or you can have an agile mindset, or you can be, agility. And we started with the basics, with the basic in the sense that we allow developers to work better in their laptops, and to give them choice how to work, to make the working hours, flexible working hours. So the working from home and flexible working hours are not the case for our bank anymore. So they can decide where they feel more productive. However, we still have some things that we need to improve and work for, because now we are in a difficult environment, and a lot of talented people want to move. And I believe that this is not the case only for our country. It's usually what Balkans are quite touched, not only the Europe, because of the low workforce, and lots of big IT companies are outsourcing in Kosovo and in the region. So the market is offering a lot now, and definitely this salary topic is not getting out of the table. And I believe that, and I said also to my management, if we don't manage to take this off, then definitely we may struggle a little bit, even that it's not something that it's seen to be taken off until 2025, at least based on some research and statistics. However, we really want to simplify, and the idea is how we want to onboard them, how we want to retain, talents, and how attractive we want to be. For example, we have to find a solution in the sense that, if you want to employ someone who is based in Brussels and don't want to come to Pristina, then what we have to do, we have to simplify the activities in a sense of security, in a sense of access rights, etc. So, which is constant growing, making things simpler. So therefore, we don't scale agile, and it doesn't have to be the focus. The focus should be in increasing the flow by improving the same time the quality and also the outputs, in the sense that we see the bottleneck in the system. For example, the bottleneck can be compliance, the bottleneck can be legal, the bottleneck can be technology. Go and fix it. And because only by this we can have the same increased quality at the output. By focusing on flow, the sale income by itself. This is what I really believe, and as I said, the entire system. We have to focus on the entire system and not in the specific aspect of it. To move forward, it's not like we want to have like a working agreement. Working agreements, of course, we do use a lot when we're talking about Scrum and the way how our team in IT and business are working together. Because this is the only way to have the same dog in our mind when we're talking about maybe different objectives. But what we really wanted and what we are really living is that we want to move from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So we don't, from the long run planning to the short increments, like sprints and with 2 weeks of sprints. from inputs to the outputs, from the mindset of mine to mindset of ours, not only for the successes, but also maybe for the faults. From project steering committee to portfolio days, for example, sometimes you may have people who said, okay, I have the money, I'm smart, I want to invest. Okay, fine, you can invest, but what are the hypotheses? What is the validation? So breaking down, from opinions to data, to justification, to accountability, from fragmented backlogs to the strategic, tactical, and operational backlogs. Maybe sometimes from child mining to the full empowered owners, because we have faced and sometimes are still facing is like the communication with the cost management when it comes to the budget. Okay, they say, okay, you've had this money and you spend the money which were related to people, and now you are having the money still available for the investment in technology. But the idea is to go to the full empowerment. And we were talking about full empowerment. We all know that we can't ask people to be empowered from today on. We have to make sure that they really understand what this empowerment all about. I mean, do they still need? I mean, to grow their know-how? Do they need anything to be empowered? It's of course is our job also as an agile coaches to make sure for this. But the full empowerment in a meaning that on tribe level, the business owner, the product owners are having the empowerment in a domain level, in a product level. So the wallet, for example, which is composed on technology and people, running costs, investments, innovation costs, everything, because you can make your own decision. Because you can imagine, for example, you have the money for the investment and you are looking to buy for example, a system which was ranked very high in a Gartner quadrant, but you don't have the money to pay the people so they can work with that. And if you pay the people cheap for a very expensive investment, I don't think that this is a strategy that you are looking for. So empowering the people, take ownership and decisions, it's another thing that it's important. And this is the triple TE. I mean, transformation journey. I really believe that there are 3 and 4 very important elements. When we're talking about transformations, then it's about transparency, it's about trust, and it's about empowerment. If you don't have these 3 and 4 elements, 3 elements within your transformation, that you might have quite issues during the way. But I mean, a shared vision and a culture of success is the first one we need to make sure that we are having for a successful transformation, because transformation programs, are often pointless paintings. Each individual dot on the canvas doesn't amount to anything, but bringing them all together then really creates something artful. The other thing is that the emphasis we have to give to the servant leadership, as I just mentioned in the previous slides, because starting at the very bottom is more likely about active listening, is understanding that's one personal, motivations are not everyone's else, and enabling others to deliver results rather than delivering from yourself are the skills that transformation leaders learn. Setting challenging and inspiring targets. I mean, transformation starts with both leaders setting bold aspirations for their organizations that both inspire and motivate employees, to employers to go to the places they didn't, previously think it was possible. Definitely, we have to first focus on who then what. So it's all about people. First, meaning that we have to get the right team and then ask them to pull the tasks to perform the work. Then we can continue and skin into the game and avoid opinion makers, in the system, because people like people which have opinions but do not suffer from the opinions do not have to do those, and it's very important to identify and to manage them as soon as possible. We have to focus on outcomes versus inputs, because lots of people, you need saying, okay, I'm very busy, I'm super busy, I'm tired. Okay, if you're tired, go and have some rest. If you're busy, try to find some time to have a coffee, try to have some time to have a break, but please focus on outcomes. And if you focus on outcomes, think about maybe you need to optimize the process. Maybe you can automate something, and this is everything possible when you get the flow grow. Complexity. I mean, I think it's a very big enemy. For example, you may have like 30 people talking about achieving an objective, and the 30 of them sitting for 6 months to do planning, and after 2 years, and to start implementing and to release after 2 years of planning, probably maybe it may be wrong. So if you want to, if you want to do something and to transform and to do the things in a good way, get it simple, get the direction. Start, do hypothesis, do validation, do in a short increments, because only by doing this we can lower, the cost of failure, which is very important in agile way of working. We have to continue always to measuring the soft stuff. Every leader knows that how tough it is to get the most out of their people, especially during the large-scale transformations. It is critical to not only butler communications, leadership skill, training, organizational health, but also to measure. And another thing which I believe for transformation is that the main reason why we do transformation or changes is to lower the cost of failure. And if we manage to do this, this is going to allow us, to do more experiments, which at the same time using the same money maybe as our competitors. But if we have some experiments which probabilistically happen to be that we can bear some fruits and very can be profitable, then we are winning the game. And if we play this game, for example, with a low cost of failure, it's going to give us an edge. But if we play the same game for a long time, for a long run, then it's going to make us sure that we will always win. And the idea is to be in the market and to always win the game, especially if you are a big corporate, and having with lots of applications, a huge number of stuff and complexity and etc. So at the last point, I really want to encourage and also to make sure that if you want to have a successful transformation, you have to be brave, not scared, because there are some days even when the weather is not good, it's not shiny, and usually the transformation fail because people are scared. And we talk a lot with our management, we talk a lot with our B-1s, head of department, and we as agile coaches are involved in the process of dealing a lot with this emotional element of the transformation, which is very, very important. So you don't have to be scared, you have to be brave, you have to be calm, and you have to keep calm and keep going, because another element which may affect the unsuccessful transformation journey is also when people are very excited. When they think that, okay, we're going to have like a cozy environment, nice chairs, and fancy, we're going to be the best in the market, we're going to be well known for agile. And what's going to happen when the first animals come from the wood? Are you going to run back? No, that's not the idea. So it's very important to, especially the employers, to understand what correctly is going to happen with the transformation journey. And the correctness is very important. And my final beliefs. I really believe that we have to run a journey in agile, and to think about being agile and not doing agile. It's okay having everything like Google, Amazon, Alibaba, nice and fancy chairs and nice stuff and cozy environment. But it's about mindset. It's about how we really think, how we really perceive the reality. And perceiving the reality and being and having the people on board, they first have to believe in you, to believe that that's the best way that they have to do the work. Because people may ask why we are changing the way of working. Why do you believe that this is something that I really need? I'm fine with what I'm doing now. But yeah, that's why lots of analysis and lots of researches are done in behind. But the belief part and to be there is very important, because in my experience, it's shown me that if you are implementing a new methodology in organization, it may take like up to 1 year just to make people aware for the reason why we're doing it. And then if you have them on board, the success is not uncompromisable. Definitely, we have to try to find how we can become better. Because I mean, how good or how bad we are, it is a question, but it's more an opinion rather than a question. You can say that, okay, you're doing this good and bad, but still is this just an opinion. But being better every day, it's something. For example, if I'm better today, if I'm feeling better today than yesterday, I see that there are progress. If I'm getting paid today much more than I used to be paid yesterday, I see that there are progress. And this is how we can increase the flow and the growth. And definitely continuously improve every day and always, because if you improve continuously and if you do that every day, this means it's how it's going to happen always. And these are my final beliefs in terms of transformation. I don't know, maybe you have just recognized that in the title of my presentation, I also put like a subtitle, which is written like big fish can eat the small ones only if they manage to catch them, and the small fishes can compete with the big ones only if they grow as big as they are. Definitely, if you are small, I mean, if we put this in a narrative of organizations and institutions or companies, if you are a small, you're not heavy, and if you are just swimming in the very dynamic floating water, yes, you're not heavy, you're flexible, you can go, regardless how far you go. But if you are big and you want to compete with a big one, maybe you have to be in a group just to, if you want to compare in the size. But the idea here, big, I didn't put in a sense of size. The big has, it's the idea behind big is if they manage to be integral. So if they manage to be integral, big organizations, is like my organization I'm working. Be here. I mean, listen to the voice of the customer, and especially the internal customers, which is very much important because of the first front face for our external customers. The best marketing that we can do is our internal customers. If we care for them, if we listen to them, if we work with them, if we understand them, then yeah, we are there. We are B. And if we are into the topics, it makes people feel that it's somebody who cares about them, and he is somebody who thinks about them. And if you're taking care about the people, then the growth gonna happen constantly. If I may have another example, for example, until 80s, the two most important capitals which organizations may have used to be like financial capital and also technology. If you have the money, you can buy whatever technology is in place. I mean, the newest one, the most innovative one. But if you don't have the intellectual capital within you, then who's going to use that capital? Who's going to use the technological capital that you're having? So another strong topic of transformation is the mindset of people and taking care of them for their feelings and the emotional part if we really want to progress and proceed further successfully.